Welcome back to the channel, guys. As I promised in the last video, I will show you how to bypass this control board on these Dometic fridges. If you do need to run it on electric, an emergency case, as we discovered last time, in my particular case, the circuit board was not functioning correctly and kept switching this fridge to gas even though the camper was plugged into shore power. But I was able to run this fridge by bypassing the control board for literally 2-3 days out camping. So I will show you how I did that. It definitely works. Here are a couple of the things that you will need to bypass the control board in the system to run your fridge. You will need a male plug like this. Only a 2-wire will do. If you got a 3-wire, that will not be used. Just the hot wire and the neutral wire. Now I put some spade connectors on this, as you can see. And this is just something I've cut off of another junk equipment. You will need an outlet like this. Now this one is remote controlled. You can manually on and off this outlet to pretty much run anything inside or outside. Christmas lights. You can certainly use like a Christmas lights timer. You can use a Wi-Fi type of an outlet that you can turn on and off with your phone. But it's a simple thing like this will also work. But again, it is manual. You cannot control it with Wi-Fi or your phone or anything like that. But again, that's something. You have many different choices, and I will put some of that stuff in the description and links to all that stuff in the description for you, including the spades and the male connectors and such. So let's get to it. The first step is you want to look at your fuses and you want to figure out which one is for the refrigerator. In my case, it's number 5 here. You want to go ahead and pull that fuse. The reason we're actually removing that fuse, as you can see now, the light has come on indicating the issue with the fuse, but we have removed the fuse. The reason that's done is to disable the function on the fridge. If you leave that fuse in, the control board is active and it'll keep switching the fridge and trying it on gas. Now again, the main reason you're doing this is your fridge is not functioning on electric. It keeps wanting to switch to gas, and you want to run it on electric. Now you can follow the procedure in the other video to figure out what the problem is. In my case here, and in many cases, it most likely will be the control board. In some cases, it can be the control board in here, the eyebrow. This is the upper panel. That could also be an issue, but in most cases, it is the main control board that's behind the refrigerator outside. So to bypass that, we have pulled the fuse, and that's disabling the control board here and the control board outside. So looking at the outside access panel behind the refrigerator, you want to go ahead and unplug the refrigerator. You want to remove the cover on your main board. I've already had it loose. If you need help with that, you can watch the other video when we did replace this circuit board. Again, you only want to do this in an emergency case. Circuit board is not functioning and letting the fridge work on electric. So the next step you want to follow, now that we have the fuse pulled for the control board inside, and we have the refrigerator disconnected from the outlet. In your main control board panel, you want to find the connections for the heating element, which is here behind the shield. You can follow these wires and they lead to here, J8, and I believe the other one is J7. So it's a hot and neutral. You want to go ahead and remove both of these pins. So by using the pliers, we'll go ahead and pull those off. We want to take our male connector that we made with spade. So we have that connection made. You want to take some electrical tape and tape up those connections. Now you can certainly go ahead and plug that right into our outlet here, but then you have no way of turning it on and off other than plugging and unplugging it. So for that reason, we're going to be using this switch remote controlled outlet. We'll go ahead and plug that into our outlet, and we'll take our male plug here and plug that into this outlet. Okay, now that we have that connection made there, this will actually be bypassing everything other than the heating element that runs this fridge while it's on electric. So this outlet that we have our element plugged into is turned on and off via this control, and you can see that as soon as I click the button, you can see that outlet is on, and that's feeding 120 directly to our heating element. Now that we have everything disabled and our connections made outside, I'm able to use my remote here from the inside. It has good enough range to where I can turn it on and turn it off from here, and I can actually hear the outlet clicking on and off. Now the only issue with this system is really don't know if it's on or off other than listening for the clicking noise, or if you've had it running long enough to where the fridge is cool. Because by pulling the fuse, you will lose all the functions as far as lights or anything like that. There will be no lights inside. That'll be turned off. There's basically no power to the fridge control board, so it cannot run any of those functions. And we have bypassed all that. Again, these fridges are absorbent type refrigerators. They don't have a compressor. They don't have a blower fan, which can be added on these. I believe there is were available through Dometic as an add-on. But anyhow, my fridge doesn't have any of that. Now again, you only want to do this in an emergency case. Problem with this system is you have to kind of monitor the time. You don't want to have this on for 10 hours straight. So if there's an issue anywhere as far as overheating or something not running correctly, the fridge will not be able to turn itself off since we got a direct wire. But it will cool. If all the other functions are okay on the fridge, it'll work just like a normal fridge. It's just unable to cycle on and off, which we're doing manually with this. Now, if you have a timer, a digital timer, or any kind of a Christmas light timer or what have you, or even a Wi-Fi controlled outlet can run that fridge. You can set the hours for it to go on and off, maybe 2 hours on, a few minutes off, and then back on. That's something you can decide. But that is the way to bypass these circuit boards and run your fridge in an emergency case. Like I have mentioned, I've had to do that in a couple different situations, and I had no problem having this on 4, 5, 6 hours at a time and then turning it off for half an hour to an hour and turning it back on. Never been an issue, but you want to make sure you know what the problem is before you go ahead and bypass it. Obviously, if your heating element is what the issue is to begin with, it will not work, because even though you're feeding it directly, it will not heat and let the refrigerator function. So hopefully this has helped someone out. You do want to be careful doing this. Do it at your own risk.